Martha Kelpie here, AASECT certified sex therapist and supervisor. As promised, today I'm going to talk about effective goal setting, or what kind of direction you might want to point yourself if you're looking for an improvement in your relationship or relationships. So in my last vlog, if you didn't see it, go check it out because it's a first step. What we're doing here is talking about how you would think about your relationship and your part in your relationship in a way that will set you up for success in whatever change process you want to engage in. So that might be a self-help project, that might be therapy, counseling, coaching, what have you. It's all going to go way better and be much more effective if you do this magic trick first, which involves a perspective shift. So go watch vlog from last week, and this is part 2. So when you're engaging in a change process, it's good to get clear in your mind what it is that you want to change. Now, if I were to say to you, what I want to change in my relationship is I want my partner to do this thing differently. The problem is, like, how much control do I actually have over either that problem or that solution? None, like none. I might have a little bit of influence. So I could go to my partner and I could say, my darling, I have some feelings about this. This is a change I'd like to discuss. Do you have any interest in this change process? I don't love how this aspect of our relationship is going. What are your thoughts about that? I could do that. That would be about me. But then the way I would word that goal is I would like to speak up to my partner in a non-defensive, collaborative way about a change that I would like to invite my partner to consider. So this is a very important fine point. If you want to have a goal that's effective, it must be a goal about you. So if the goal has to do with communication between the two of you, that's your part of the communication. I would like to show up differently in the communication between us. And then it would be good if you could get clear about what exactly that would look like. So I'm going to just deep dive for a second about what is an effective goal and not an effective goal. So the first aspect we already talked about, it needs to be a goal about you. A goal about your partner is great, and your partner may or may not be interested in getting on board with that goal. It's kind of in their realm. And what I want for you and for the happiness project of you is that your goals are firmly in your court. I want them to be in your realm and something that you can actually tackle. So that's the first thing. It has to be a goal about you. And then the second thing is, it would be great if your goals were something that you're clear how they would benefit you. That may sound really, really obvious, but sometimes we'll come up with goals because our partner wants us to. Like, my partner told me that they would like me to change this or that aspect of how I'm showing up in my relationship. And so I want to do that because I want to make my partner happy. That's great, but nobody really ever did a very hard thing simply for that reason. It would be very important to investigate, is it a thing you want for yourself, for your own reasons? So that's the second part. Do I want this goal for myself, for my own reasons? And what will be the payoff directly to me? So that's the third part. So when I achieve this goal, how is it going to benefit me? How will my life be better? Will I be happier? Will I feel more relaxed? Will I feel more connected with my partner? Will I be in more honest conversation with my partner? How is it going to benefit me to make this change? So this may seem all very kind of me focused, and it is. So because the only person that you can actually change is yourself. So now I also want to know, is your goal actionable? If you are watching a movie, and could you actually imagine how the person in the movie would do this goal? What would it look like? Would you be able to see it and say, oh yeah, there they are doing that thing? If you can't imagine how it actually plays out, it's not specific enough. So if somebody comes to me and they say, Martha, I want to be a better communicator, I'd be like, well, What does that mean to you? If you're a better communicator, what are you doing differently from what you're doing now? And that is the key. When you drill down a little bit and get specific about your goal, the questions are going to get harder to answer. Well, Martha, if I were a better communicator, I would, let's think of some things. Listen without interrupting, not get defensive, get curious about what my partner's experience is. Those are all things that I could see somebody in a movie doing. I'd be able to say, oh yeah, there they go with the curiosity thing. Awesome communication. Or, oh, look at that. They almost got defensive, but instead they didn't get defensive and they asked a question instead. Great. That's not being defensive, right? That's something else. And you can see it happening. Or there they are listening without interrupting. I can see that happen. So that's the last aspect of your effective goal setting, is that it needs to be actionable. You need to be clear about what it would look like. It's going to be a little more effective for you and for anybody. It's not just special for you if you can come up with a goal that's positive rather than negative. So it's hard to not be defensive and to know what that means. So again, if you're watching a movie, can you see, oh, they're not defensive? Well, how do I know they're not defensive? What are they doing instead? Because if you're going to do something differently, it's good if you're clear on what it is. Okay, so let's recap. So you have watched the previous video and figured out what kind of a person you want to be in this relationship, what it looks like, what it feels like, why it feels important, and how far you are away from that now. And then it's time to really put it into practice. So the way I would actually be different in my relationship is, and it has to be something that is important to you. It's really great if it's values aligned, meaning something that feels important to you for your own reasons. Like, I want to be a good listener because I think it's a good way to be. And also, if I'm a good listener, maybe my partner will talk to me more honestly or more deeply. If I'm a good listener, I think I'll feel like I know my partner, my actual partner, instead of some mask that they're showing me because they're people pleasing. Those are some values related reasons to be a good listener, as an example. Or I want to be curious instead of defensive. You'll notice how I thought up a positive step rather than just a negative thing. So I don't want to be defensive, but what would I be instead? Curious. So why do I want to be curious instead of defensive? Well, it's the person that I want to be. I feel good about myself when I'm with friends who ask good questions and help me go deeper with what I'm thinking about. It's a nice way to be. It makes people feel good. So I would like to be that kind of a person that makes other people feel good. I would like to be the kind of person that helps people learn more about themselves and take their conversation to a deeper level. And if I were curious, that would be helping people do that. So there are some examples of values-led reasons for curiosity. Maybe you might have a relational goal like, I would like to be more honest and transparent in my relationship. Okay, so you want to say some things to your partner that are a little deeper, a little more honest, as an alternative to secrecy, perhaps. You want to grow the muscle of telling your partner perhaps some hard truths. What exactly does it look like and what does it feel like? What would be the benefit to you? So let's imagine, I'm just going to be this person for a second. I want to be more honest and transparent in my relationship. Why would I want to do that for myself? Because when I look in the mirror, I want to like who I'm seeing. I want to be able to feel clean inside, like my dreams and desires and actions and words all line up, like things are sorted out in my relationship life. That's a lot easier to get if I'm honest and transparent. I would like to be the kind of person who trusts my partner to receive information that's important to me, even if it's hard for them. Well, I might get that or I might not, but my partner's not going to have to grow that muscle at all if I don't say some things that are true for me and that I want my partner to know. I will sleep better. I will like myself better. I will feel more aligned in my life. Those are reasons that accrue directly to me. So honesty and transparency, that's a really interesting and kind of complicated goal because it might actually turn up the heat between me and my partner. If I say some things that are a little harder for my partner to hear, it's going to put some pressure on my partner to grow some skills there as well. But if my partner is really, really challenged to hear disclosures from me, maybe my partner starts to cry easily, loses their temper easily, what have you. A little reactive when I say something that's important to me that's hard for them to hear. It's still important to me to do it for my own reasons. So I don't want to let my partner's reactivity get between me and the person I want to be in my relationship. So that's why that's why it's important to figure out why you want it for your own reasons, because you may get some pushback, right? Even for a very positive change, you may very well get some pushback from your partner, or it might turn out to be a much more complicated project than you think. Yet, you're going to still have to make the rubber meet the road if you want to get all of the benefits that will accrue to you and probably to your relationship as well. So if you need some help with this, find yourself a coach or a therapist or a counselor and get some help by all means. Or if you want to do a self-help project, roll up your sleeves and dive in. But before you do, make sure that you're thinking about the change process in your relationship in terms of what you actually can change. So I want to just circle back around. If the main thing in your relationship that you want to see change is actually in your partner, I wish my partner would do this thing differently. That makes you in the majority. Most people have complaints about their partner. And the problem is if you go to relationship counseling, coaching, or therapy, or a self-help project with that as your goal, you have chosen a goal that you have very little control over. You're going to have much, much, much better results if you can figure out what you're doing or not doing that makes it hard for your partner to do what they're doing, what you want them to do. So what am I doing or not doing that makes it hard for my partner to give me what I want or do what it is that I want them to do? Then you're on your way to something that is in your wheelhouse to change. Am I lined up, showing up in this particular kind of situation in a way that I believe in and in a way that sets us both up for success? So there you go. It's a big topic. I'll be curious to hear what your thoughts are. And there's a lot more along these lines in past versions of my blog. So go check it out. And thank you for listening.